What's up? This is Ray. Welcome back. Hey, check this out. Today we're going to be reviewing something I never thought I would. This is the kit zoom that comes with your Lumix camera. This is the latest 14 to 42 aspherical G Vario stabilized lens, right? And let's be honest, kit zooms get a bad reputation, and sometimes they deserve it because first of all, the aperture, the maximum aperture is 3.5. That doesn't let in much light. You can't use this in low light situations. Also, that maximum aperture, it doesn't give you much background blur or subject isolation. You would not want to use this for portraits. It's also very plasticky, right? So for that reason, it doesn't get much respect. And matter of fact, when I first got this lens, I pretty much kept it in the bag and never used it. I preferred to use my primes, my vintage primes, because they give good background blur. They even have some beautiful character. Kit zooms have zero character. But what I've learned over the years is it's good to force yourself to use those lenses that you like the least. And you will be able to realize that you can actually get beautiful images with them if you use them to their strengths and avoid their weaknesses. So if you're curious about this kit zoom, I'm going to show you some images and video that I took with it and that I'm actually very proud of. And it made me realize that this lens is actually one of the great kit zooms, and it doesn't deserve that bad reputation that they have. So if you're curious, stick around. We're going to be checking out the latest 14 to 42 Panasonic kit zoom. Stay tuned. Alright, so check this out. These are the physicals of this lens. First off, the lens mount is plastic. This is the only lens I have with a plastic lens mount. So of course it's not going to be as strong. I don't want to drop it on that mount anyway. It's probably going to break a lot easier, but that's one of the reasons, that's one of the methods they did to keep costs down, mass producing things like this. It's all plastic, lens hood, everything. There's really no metal on it. Oh, the cool thing about the lens hood though is it can be reversed and put on backwards. Saves a lot of space in your bag and weight also, because it's all plastic. So there's no reason why you wouldn't keep this even if you don't think you're going to use it. One thing I don't like is, of course, the focusing knob is all plastic, but it doesn't have that nice greased and smooth feel that a vintage lens has. It's a pleasure to focus these vintage lenses, but this one, it just feels like plastic on plastic moving. And yeah, so I don't like manual focusing this because of that, but pretty much most people that use these kind of lenses are not going to be manual focusing anyway. But that's one of the limitations of this lens, is the build and the plasticiness of it. All right, so I'm going to show you something that you may look at as a negative for this lens and how it can be used as a positive. The maximum aperture is 3.5, so that means it's not good if you want to use it for portrait, because you're not going to get much separation from the background. You're not going to get much blur. It almost looks like an iPhone photo. But I do a lot of product photography, and when you do product photography, you don't want things out of focus. You want the entire item to be as sharp as possible, and manufacturers want to be able to see their products as accurate. So realistically, you may love your nifty 50 for the way it can give you that shallow depth of field, but it is not what you need for product photography. And what I found is this is the best lens I have for that. And that 3.5 aperture is not going to let in a lot of light, but when you do product photography, much of the time you're using a tripod anyway, so that's definitely not necessary. And also the fact that it has the stabilization, it really is not as important, getting a fast shutter speed. So that's one of the advantages of using something like this, is when you're taking images where you need as much in focus as possible. All right, the next benefit of this kit zoom is, of course, the zoom. We know zooms are very versatile, but for example, if you're on vacation in Yosemite National Park like we were recently, I wouldn't want to use a nifty 50 there. It's not going to get the grander, it's not going to catch everything in one spot. So turning this to 14 millimeter allows you to get awesome landscapes, panoramas, if your camera can do that. And most importantly, if you're shooting video and you're trying to get a panning shot of everything, the stabilization is going to make sure your shots are steady. And in a lot of cases, you're not even going to know it's not on a tripod or on some kind of stabilizer if you're able to hold your hand steady enough. It's much more versatile than any prime would ever be. Hey, they say zoom lenses are inferior to primes because there's more glass elements in there. That means there's more deterioration and there's less sharpness, theoretically, because of the extra glass elements. But what I found was there's times I've shot landscapes with this lens, and when I'm editing the image and I magnify it, I see things in the distance that I didn't see when I was looking through the lens. It is that crisp and sharp. For example, I'm going to show you an image of a sunrise, and in the distance you're going to see these electrical poles actually out in the water, and I did not see them until I fully magnified the image, and that was taken with this lens. That made me realize I don't have to worry about sharpness or image quality because it's a zoom. Everyone will tell you who uses this lens, the image quality, the sharpness is definitely top notch, and it's not inferior to a prime, at least not a modern one. All right, so that's the lowdown. That's the deal with the Panasonic 14 to 42 kit zoom. If you are curious or thinking, is this worth getting? It definitely is, and it's good at what it is designed to do. So yeah, if you're curious about getting one of these, I'm going to put a link also to the Amazon store where you can get one, hopefully at the best price. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. And if you have this lens and you took some images that you're proud of, yeah, please put a link below. I'd like to see some of your images as well, because this lens is capable. It's the photographer and their creativity that really matters. And it's, as always, it's important to know a lens strengths and weaknesses and how to use it to get the best image within that lens's limitation. That's one thing people need to realize. So hey, thanks for watching. And keep in mind though, no matter what lens you use to do your panoramas or wide angle shots or B-roll, until next time, as always, keep it real.